Hello, everybody. Raw Space here, live via my phone, which I've never done before. Hopefully the sound is okay. Please let me know in the chat if there's any issues. And welcome to my 100K subscriber special. This will be fun and different. So I'm actually a Starlink, a SpaceX Starlink beta subscriber. And my Starlink terminal, the satellite dish, arrived yesterday, coincidentally on the very same day that my channel reached 100,000 subscribers. Was it yesterday or it was the day before? Oh gosh, the days are the days are a jumble. But in any case, within the past 2 days. So thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and I'm glad to be here, and I'll continue doing this into the foreseeable future. Yeah, so what I'm going to be doing for you today is unboxing, setting up, and speed testing my Starlink internet, which I have been super excited for. Now, I already have internet at home, but and as a matter of fact, I have Google Fiber at home, which is pretty good, pretty good internet. It's gigabit up to, well, it's 1 gigabit up to 2 gigabit if I bump up my subscription. But I didn't quite want to pull the trigger on that yet because not only is it more money, but also my house isn't wired for Ethernet. It doesn't have network cable run throughout the house, and so all of my computers are connected to the internet wirelessly. They're connected to the router wirelessly, and so my limitation here is the Wi-Fi, not the not the Google. But if I ever do manage to get Ethernet cables run throughout my house, then I'll be good. You may notice the background looks a little different. I set up some, excuse me, it's going through puberty here. I set up some additional paraphernalia on the shelves back there. This isn't my grand studio design here, but you know, it's incremental. So I'm setting a little bit, you know, setting stuff up as I go along here. Also, you may notice this huge yin yang planets behind me. That's actually like a 5 foot by 4 foot tapestry that I purchased as a sample from my Teespring site. Actually, I should. Oh well. Anyway, if you're interested in merch, you know where to go. I'll just put a link in the chat. But I'm not shilling here or whatever. But anyway, you know what? I buy my own products because I like them. I love the design, and the tapestry looks amazing. I'm glad to have it up in the background instead of that tacky blue-green towel that was back there, because I haven't yet had the opportunity to order blinds for my new house. So without further ado, let's take this Operation Mobile and check out Starlink. So, let's see here. Yeah, there. That is, okay, I'll hold it from the left side. I'm new to the whole streaming while walking thing, so let's go ahead and head outside. I'm going to flip the camera around. Actually, oh, here, check this out. So here we have my family room, new chair. We have this huge 7-foot beanbag that is filled with like memory foam chunks. It is pretty amazing to lie down on. The thing is, it's bloody huge, and it takes up like half the room. But anyway, this here is where Bennu hangs out. And we can see him. Hey, buddy. Well, he was checking out some of the wildlife. We have a lot of wildlife here, birds and squirrels and even little skinks, little lizards that sometimes get into the house, and he chases them around. Um, yeah, and earlier today there were 3 little birds on the back porch that he was um, staring at intently. He was like quivering with the desire to go chase them. But anywho, out the front door. All right, so here we have my Tesla Model 3 that I've had for over 2 years now. I bought it at the end of 2018, and I absolutely love it. I have no regrets at all about getting that. It's an amazing car, and I haven't more snacks in a long time. And here, fortunately it hasn't been stolen from my driveway, we have Starlink. Now, I don't have a banana for scale, and I apologize, it's very windy today if you have trouble hearing me. But yeah, so it's a fairly large box. I think the dish is about 18 inches long. But yeah, let's go ahead and got my trusty multi-tool here. I actually broke my old one. I'd had it for like 20 years and it broke. And contacted the manufacturer, and even after 20 years they just sent me a new one. They're like, here, have a new one. So there you go, my Gerber multi-tool. All right, let's open this puppy up. You know what, I'm going to take this and set it right over here. Let's flip this. All right. Boop. Nice. And again, it's like super breezy today, so I'm sorry if my voice doesn't carry. Eventually geez Louise. Eventually I'll get like like a lav mic or something that I can hook up to my either my phone, whatever I'm streaming with, you know, GoPro or something. But for now, this is what we got to work with. I'll try to yell for you once I'm not right next to the phone. So it comes in a okay, so that's actually the bottom, but let me go ahead and cut these. All right. Oh, there was a bird. We have some big birds here. All right, so I'll tell you what. I'm gonna grab the phone because that's a little far away, and I want to make sure you get a good look at this. All right, so here we have, and I've already seen other people's videos of this, so this is no surprise to me. These are the instructions. 3 little graphic panels, and let's see, sound is coming through great. Okay, thank you, Sam. 3 little graphic panels. Plug it in and access via the app. This is just a piece of cardboard, and we have this big form-fitted packaging thing on the top. And so here you have the contents of the box. Everything's actually already plugged in. So you've got a tripod, right? And you've got Dishy McFlatface itself right here. And then you've got the power unit. So this provides, well, the power and data unit. So this provides power and data to both Dishy and the router, which is this guy right here. And everything's even already plugged in. Like so, a monkey could pretty much do this. You know, if it may be a clever monkey. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, and I don't want to drop the dish. That would be really dumb. So I'm going to set this back up on the tripod. All right. So there are a ton of trees around my house, and so I actually don't have really great views of the sky. For Starlink, you're supposed to have a 100-degree view of the sky, and I have these big tall trees around my house, so I actually don't have great sky views. Let me make sure that's in frame. Oh yeah, that's well within the frame. There we go. So it comes with, all right, so you know what? I'm going to disconnect these things because, all right, so this is the power unit. I already ran an extension cable out here, but when you set the thing up, you don't really need the extension cable because Starlink comes with, I don't know how many feet this is, 50 feet, 75, 100 feet of RJ45, you know, Ethernet with power, like power over Ethernet cable. Maybe it's a proprietary cable with, you know, extra capacity for juice because the dish draws, according to my understanding, the dish draws about 100 watts, up to 100 watts, at up to 2.5 amps. So, yeah, this is a real space age looking router here. Let me hold this up close for you. Where are we? Kind of looks like a Cybertruck, doesn't it? Call it a cyber router. Can't call it cyber power because that's already a brand name. But so let's actually give this some space here. And I don't want this to blow over, so I'm going to put it on its side. Plug it right in. And as far as Dishy, regulatory notes. Okay, so once you remove the network hardware, you've got this middle layer of packing material. And then you've got Dishy itself, which is pretty big. Like I said, it's about 18 inches. Not that heavy though. I mean, fairly, you know, it's got some heft to it, but okay, so I want you to see this. And I did not see this in the other videos about Starlink, but this is the, so I don't know if you can see there, that little round post sticking out from the, I'm sorry, little round button sticking out from the post. That actually goes into round holes in the tripod and lock it in place. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this cable, set it right here, move the tripod a little bit, and then whoop, and it locks into place. So now what should happen is once I plug it in, I'm expecting that Dishy is going to orient itself pointing straight up at the sky. So normally with a you know, a direct TV satellite dish or whatever, you got to aim it at a geosynchronous or a geostationary satellite, which is in an equatorial orbit around the Earth, because in order to hover over the same spot on the Earth, a geostationary satellite has to be orbiting over the equator, because that's our, you know, that's the perpendicular to the axis of Earth's rotation. So yeah, so you have to aim the satellite to the south, roughly in the direction of the, aim the dish to the south, roughly in the direction of the satellite you're pointing at. The thing is, as we all know, Starlink is not geostationary. Starlink is a mega constellation, the biggest by far, constellation of now more than 1,500 satellites in low Earth orbit that are zipping around at 17,500 miles per hour at a fairly low altitude. And so there's constantly multiple Starlinks over our head at any given time. And so this thing doesn't have to point south. It doesn't have to point in any particular direction. But it will orient itself in order to maximize its view of the sky. So what it does is, first, what's going to happen when I plug it in, which I haven't done yet, is it's going to point itself straight up. And then it's going to tilt itself according to, you know, its assessment of where it's getting the best signal from. So I'm going to plug this in now and see what happens. And okay, I have lights. There's a little white light here on each of the ports on the power unit. So Dishy's got power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the mobile app. Now I'm actually going to use my my daughter's phone for this. Hold on, let me get logged in. Oh, look at that. Just rotated itself straight up. All right. Yeah, so what you do is on your mobile device, you download the Starlink app, which I have already done, and I'm going to start setup. Plug everything in, connect to Wi-Fi. Oop. Yes. Okay, open Wi-Fi settings. Look, there is a Starlink Wi-Fi. I'm going to connect to it. All right, I'm connected. Now I need to set up my my Starlink Wi-Fi network, which I'm going to call it Raw Link, because I have to. That's obvious. Password is going to be what? One moment, entering the password. Okay, so I clicked create, and now it says you're going to disconnect from the router. Reconnect using your new Wi-Fi network name and password. Turn the Wi-Fi off and back on. Somebody mentioned that. So because I'm doing this live, there's always a risk that something will go differently than... Oh, raw link. There we go. Look at that. There's raw link. Okay, password is... Connecting. All right, internet is unavailable with Rawlink. All right, so now I should be able to go to the Starlink app, which is here. All right, so it says connecting. Now, I understand it can take a few minutes for Starlink to connect. So it says offline. Wow, next satellite in 315,964,544 seconds. That's a lot of seconds. Okay. Yeah, so as I understand it, it can take a few minutes for Starlink to acquire the signal. So let's see here. Looking through the chat. Spaceball's president had the same password, I think. 12345. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Paw Link. That's a good option. Friday Ray. Friday Ray says Benu's pad is sweet. Thanks. I didn't show my password, did I? I held the thing right in front of my face. Rusty Buckets, congrats on the 100K. Thank you much. It's a big week over here. SpaceX. Rhonda Weilman, hey, congrats on 100K subscribers, Raw Space. Much love to you. Clap, clap, clap. Keep up the amazing work. Your channel is awesome. Thank you very much. Space, check mark, is, Space Check, is asking, so is Starlink by SpaceX or just sent up in their rocket? It is both. The SpaceX launches it, and it is also SpaceX's constellation, satellite constellation. So yeah, it's all SpaceX. Oops, sorry, got a little finger in front of the camera there. So I also have a network cable strung out here that once I'm able to, oh, hey, online, good connection, you're connected. Sign in. Okay, let me just enter my sign-in info. All right, now I know, all right, now we're cooking with grease. Entering password. Hopefully that works. Intermittent service. Your area is currently experiencing intermittent service. Our team is investigating and will resolve as soon as possible. Okay, so Starlink is still in the beta phase. There we go. And so, all right, so it says intermittent service. Now if I click on network, what do I see? Nothing. Connected devices, okay, that's this phone. Run speed test. Now this is using fast.com, which I'm not too familiar with. So it's telling me my speed is 180 megabits per second. But let's run a normal speed test with speedtest.net by Ookla. All right, welcome to Speedtest. Let's review your, oh my gosh. Fine. Yes. Yes. Whatever. I'm gonna uninstall. No. Jeez Louise. All right. So we've got the very invasive speedtest.net app running. Go. All right. So it says SpaceX Starlink is the network. lease web is, I guess, the closest location that it is pinging to. And look at that speed. Holy cow. 235 megabits up. I'm sorry, down. Okay, upstream, it's not doing so great. .96, about 10 megabits up. So 235 megabits down and 9.96 up. Now, as I understand it, Starlink performance is greatly affected by its view of the sky. And again, because they only have a subset of the well, let me just make double sure that I'm on the correct. Yes, it's connected to Rawlink, so this is not using my regular home Wi-Fi. Just wanted to make absolutely sure that I had the right Wi-Fi connection. So anyway, yeah, so as they get more satellites up there, and as they tweak their software and fine-tune their system, those speeds are going to get better. Now, 235 megabits down. That's really fast. I mean, that's a quarter of a gigabit. Which is like the premium tier of broadband connectivity. Now the upstream is not so great, but I'll have to. Now this isn't going to be my driveway is not going to be the final resting place of this Starlink satellite. I'm probably going to mount it on the roof over there. If you see, I have a neighbor's ladder that I borrowed. I'm probably going to put it on that roof because that roof is like way too high for me to go up there. But I should be able to get a good signal from over there. And it's interesting because currently it tilted itself. It can only tilt in one direction. Like if let me take the phone around to the back side of Dishy, and I'll show you. So if you see here, that slot on the bottom of the Starlink terminal dish, it can only tilt in one direction. So I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with the kind of technology they're using to to do this system, but apparently only being able to tilt in one direction is sufficient because that's what they're doing. It cannot rotate, I don't think. Let's see. Well, let's see. I don't know if that's on the servo or not to my knowledge, but yeah. So, okay, so here's what I want to do. I tested Wi-Fi, and we've got 235 down and about 10 up. But what I want to do is grab my Ethernet cable and plug in my computer and do a test with that. So, if you'll bear with me a moment. Got my trusty purple Ethernet cable, 75 feet long. Comes in handy in all sorts of situations. All right, so here on the back of the router, and that's where we plug in. That's where we plug in our Ethernet cable. So I'm going to pocket this little rubber stopper. And so the Wi-Fi that I connected to is coming from this little white box, which is the Starlink router. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hardwire it. I'm going to plug it right in here. And if we follow this cable, that goes right in there to my computer room. So, you know what? Let me switch to Wi-Fi. Hey, Benno. Hey, Benno. I've been outside. I smell like the outside, don't I? Oh, he loves his perch. Am I coming through okay now? I just wanted to have some slack time for the connection to rebuffer. See, he has lots of critters out there to watch. Bunnies and squirrels, birds, lizards, bugs. All right. So, back to the computer room. All right. I'm going to go ahead and now I've got the other end of that purple cable right here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this around. Oh, hey, I didn't mean to switch that around. What I'm going to do is mount this again in front of the computer. And I'm going to switch the internet cable on my desktop. So I'm going to unplug this one. I'm going to replug this one because my computer does not have Wi-Fi. I don't have any kind of Wi-Fi capability on my desktop computer. There. So we have network 5 connected. So currently this is physically plugged into the Starlink router via Ethernet cable. And so, all right, so what we're going to do is go to speedtest.net. SpaceX Starlink. Here, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. SpaceX Starlink. Okay, this time it's Cox Nova in Virginia. I think the other one was in Virginia too, wasn't it? I'm going to go ahead and run this. Okay. Now, in the other videos I've seen, they did not experience an appreciable difference in speed between Wi-Fi, the Starlink Wi-Fi, and the Starlink Ethernet, which is good. That means you're going to get equivalent speed either way. So yeah, so this is pretty similar. We've got, what? No thanks. So we've got 253 down and 11 up. That is pretty awesome, considering that I'm using a beta, unfinished satellite internet constellation. That's amazing. So, and we've got a 24 ping. I didn't even notice the ping before. Let me take a look at the phone here and see what it was. Okay, so the ping on the phone before was 38 milliseconds. 235 down, 9.96 up, and now we've got 24 ping, 253 down, and 11.26 up. So there you have it, folks. That is SpaceX Starlink setup in a nutshell. Now, I was obviously narrating when I did all this, and but like you could set this thing up in like 30 seconds. I mean, it is that quick. I mean, you know, it'll take you longer than 30 seconds probably to find an ideal spot to mount the thing. I mean, if you have a, you know, it comes with the tripod, but in order to mount it on the roof, I'm going to need to buy a, you know, a flat roof mounting bracket for it. But I also want to, oh, here's the thing. Let me show you this. This just arrived. This is a power inverter for my car. I mean, it's not specifically for my car, but it's a 12 volt power inverter for my Tesla that I'm going to use in my Tesla, where I will hopefully be able to power the Starlink terminal dish using the 12 volt auxiliary power port in my car. And what that means is that I'll be able to have Starlink internet with all of that broadband speed anywhere, like anywhere. Middle of the desert, middle of the ocean, you know, launch facilities, Texas, Florida, doesn't matter. If I'm within, you know, spitting distance of my car, I will have a very fast internet connection. And that's exciting. I'm super excited about that. But I do want to make sure that inverting, because the power port on the Tesla Model 3 anyway, it's a 12 volt, 12 amp port, and you know, inverting that, it may be a little iffy as to whether it will provide sufficient power for Starlink underload. But what I've got to do is test. Like, I also ordered a power monitor, like a kilowatt, KILLAWATT. It's a device that lets you monitor the power consumption of a device. But I don't think I ordered the brand name, but I ordered a device that lets me monitor power consumption. And so what I'm going to do is record some data on the Dishy's Rawlink's power consumption and see if it looks like my car, because I don't want to put the dish under strain, nor do I want to put my car under strain, because my car is worth a lot more than that dish. So yeah, I don't want to damage my car, but and I guess I couldn't anyway if I'm going through an inverter. But in any case, yeah. So my hope is that it will provide sufficient power and that I'll be able to get. Who knows? I mean, maybe I can even set up the Starlink dish in the back passenger seat, all 18 inches of it, and have broadband internet on the road. Like, and I know that may be a tall order, because I don't know if the system is capable of maintaining a solid connection at high speed. But so who was that? What does the label on the back of that inverter say for the input voltage and amperage? 300 watt sine power inverter. So this is a pure sine wave inverter. I wanted to make sure to provide nice clean sine wave power to Dishy. Input voltage DC 11 to 15 volts. Output AC 100 to 120 volts at 60 hertz. It doesn't say anything about amps or watts on the device. Let's see. So now it does have two USB charging ports, which say auto 0 to 2.4 amps, but those are USB ports. And the USB port is only like, what is it, 5 volts? So, yeah. Anyway, so Gerard is saying the system is currently designed, this is a quote, the system is currently designed to supply broadband speeds to people's residences, but SpaceX filed an application with the FCC to get clearance to bring Starlink to moving vehicles in the US. So that's a matter of regulation. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I think that'll wrap it up. So this was just a confluence, a serendipitous confluence of me receiving the Starlink package at the same time that I reached 100,000 subs. So, but for those who have been along with me for the ride, thank you so much for your support. I do plan to, bring you bigger and better things as time and money permit. But I have I don't do this full time. This is just a hobby. So I can't afford to go on, road trips and things like that because I have a job, I have kids to take care of, and so on. So, but I'll do what I can, and hopefully have a lot of fun doing it with you all. So, again, thanks for coming, and until the next time. Wait a minute, let me cue this up all smooth like. Until the next time, keep it raw, and I will see you later.